Okay, so we mixed some mortar, and we added some color. And one important thing, when you're mixing, make sure you have your measurements. So next time, let's say I mixed a half of a bucket, and if you run out, so you would know how to mix it exactly the same color, how much pigment you want to put in. So you wouldn't be stuck like, oh, what was the recipe? When you run out. So I don't think this half bucket will cover the whole thing, but we'll see. And then you get the bag, which is you can get from any of the home supply stores, and you're gonna need a little brush so you can work all the crevices after you put the grout in. And you can use any wooden stick. I'll just use the other end of it, to scrape the excess grout when it dries out a little bit. So we're gonna load this stuff to the bag, and a piece of advice: don't load it too much because it's kind of gets heavy to hold it in your hand. Better do it like refill it more often than load the whole thing, and then your arm gets tired and you can't hold it anymore. And don't worry if if you get too much on into the seams, because don't start to wipe it off with a towel. That way you're just gonna mess up the whole thing. Rather just wait a little bit, and it'll be easier to just scratch it off, and it will fall off without any big marks on the stone. What I noticed is that even if the gaps are really tiny, you still want to try to fill them up a little bit, so you have this consistent look of every seam is grouted. Even if you're basically spreading it on top of there's no gap to go into, but it just makes it look much better. Like this one is like there's nothing to put on. I'm gonna still try to squeeze a little bit and to keep a consistent look. Also, when you grout it, it helps to hide any veneers that has been cut and has cut side exposed, like this one. Okay, so now I just finished the whole bucket, or half the bucket, and in the spot where I actually started, the grout is already not that soft, so we can actually start to scratch and remove the excess grout. And you can actually scratch it up as you want, as deep as you want between the stones, or you want to leave some like just almost flat with the stone. It's all up to you what kind of look you want to get. As I told you, just take your time and then you make it with the little brush, you make it not as sharp, so it kind of smoothens it out. And I'm gonna work all the way till I get it all done, and I'll show you the finished result.